All right, guys, we're going to take a little look at Jakob Poeltl and see what he has to say. Apparently, he spoke out on the differences between San Antonio Spurs and the Toronto Raptors play style. And he has some decent things to say.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, so we're going to talk about Jakob Poeltl. As you guys know, I was very adamant on the San Antonio Spurs going ahead and trading away Jakob Poeltl. I've been saying it all season long, and it was quite a few people that agreed with that sentiment, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we have to invest in our future, and Jakob, at his age, he need to be with a team that's at least going in a decent direction, or he can at least try to make the playoffs. And at the same time, he's just, I don't know, his talent is just being a little wasted with us, if you will. So he has something to say about the San Antonio Spurs and the difference between them and Toronto Raptors. Now, if you guys want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. Click on that for me. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to this. Jakob, what do you have to say? Oh, sorry. If you didn't hear him, he asked, hey, what's the difference between what you were doing in pop scheme and what you're doing here? So he's going to talk about defense and then offense.
Oh, it's tough. There's a couple things on defense. Obviously, like I spoke about this before, like kind of going from a sit back, passive type defense, like being very careful, not giving up fouls, to a very aggressive style defense, trying to force turnovers, maybe making a.
Okay, so this makes sense. So basically what he's saying with the San Antonio Spurs under Popovich, he really took a more laid back approach, trying not to make silly mental mistakes. Now, the reason being for that is because we are in a rebuild. The San Antonio Spurs are definitely going into a direction where they're trying to set a foundation for their players. So obviously they will want their vets to do the same as well. There's no point in being overly aggressive. What's really important is playing the right way. Now, with the Toronto Raptors, that's just completely different. They have a different type of team in which they are going to be more aggressive. And that actually makes me, that poses the question of, as you guys remember, Jakob Poeltl with us, statistic-wise, analytics-wise, he was one of the worst in the league amongst big men as far as getting scored on. I just summed it up to him being the only defender we really had under the paint at times, and also him taking kind of a step down from what he was the previous season. But maybe it did have to do with the way that we approached the game as well. So that's something to think about.
A couple less solid plays, but trying to be aggressive and like forcing the opponents to make mistakes. And then on offense, like I feel like I'm just in a little bit of a different role. In San Antonio, I had the ball in my hands a lot. I was trying to create for other guys. Like so far here, I'm just in a lot of pick and roll situations. Like obviously we have really talented one-on-one scorers in P, Fred, all those guys. So yeah, I'm just trying to play more of a supportive role on offense, I guess.
Yeah, and the ball was on his hand, or in his hands quite a bit with the San Antonio Spurs. I think that's the last thing he has to say. Let's see if there's any follow-up to this.
How do you work on that defensive change and being aggressive in practice and moving your field from all those things?
Okay, so they're just asking him how did he deal with the defensive change between San Antonio Spurs and Raptors. We can listen to that, and then we can get on out of here. I just found this interesting overall.
Practice that stuff.
I mean, there's really not that much to practice. You just do it over and over again in reps like that. And I think at the end of the day, every player out there has their own individual defensive identity. So I'm going to apply my own identity to this scheme, but I'm going to just like adjust my personal style to this more aggressive way. Like I can only do what I'm capable of doing. You know, I mean, just like everybody else is out there. So yeah, it's just about these small little adjustments in mindset almost.
Okay, so one step at a time. Dude, I really like Jakob Poeltl. I hope he has all the success in the world. Now, funny enough, let me just bring this up because I don't know why people think like this sometimes. They look at Jakob and what he's doing in Toronto, and they automatically say, see, look, he was being held back at San Antonio. Very few people, but there's some people that said that after he had that really big game over at Toronto the other night, or maybe a week ago or something like that, which he had like 30 points. But people forget that he's had some pretty decent point games with us too. Like yeah, he's capable of that. So I don't know, just a weird thing. Just wanted to bring that up. Also, just to add on to this, I don't regret letting go of Jakob Poeltl. I think this was a good deal, and at the same time, you can get that archetype in other places. Okay, you see him being very effective right now with the Toronto Raptors, but it's because he's taken a more role player type role. So with the San Antonio Spurs, you saw him do so much, and you're like, oh wait, no, we need to keep him. But no, he shouldn't have been doing those things anyway, right? It's kind of similar to Keldon Johnson for a big majority of this season, where I just felt like he's having to do too much, and it's easy to say, well, he's just not that great, right? It's like, no, it's just that he's doing too much, right? He needs to take on a more role player role, but you can't do that when the team is full of young guys and role players. So yeah, so anyways, I'll give it to you guys later. You want to support the channel, claimthemerchfan.com, or become a Patreon YouTube member, only $2 per month. I'll give it to you guys later. Till next time, bye.